things. Tonight on the show, we have some special guests coming through you're not going to want to miss. It's all about occupational health and safety. We got our boys Kevin and Bill coming through and talking about the important work that this generations old association is fresher and newer than ever. And you're going to want to check out all the cool things they're doing at an upcoming conference you may want to sneak into yourself. And my friend Steve's coming through. He is a lover of coffee, and Goodkarma coffee is his special brand. And he's going to make us a cup right on the stage here. You're not going to want to miss it. It's Out of the Fog. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and like I done told you before the break, we're hanging out with some kingpins here tonight. And our first guests up, Kevin and Bill. How are you doing?
Great. Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, Don.
A pleasure, of course. I always love to have people who are, daring greatly, making things happen, and moving ahead the needle in a bunch of important ways when it comes to, the health and safety of our people in the province in so many ways. So I'll ask you first. Tell us more about NLOHSA and everything that you do.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start off a little bit with the history of NLOHSA. So we've been around since 1957.
Wow.
We had our first conference actually on April 8th, 1957 at the old Newfoundland Hotel downtown. So we've been around for a long time. This year is going to be our 66th conference out in Gander on May 10th to 12th. So we're really looking forward to it. But just a little bit more about NLOHSA. In 1980, actually, we changed our name. We switched it to the Newfoundland Industrial Health and Safety. Okay. And then in 1997, we added Labrador because we were only Newfoundland at that point in time. And then in 2006, we changed now to our current name, which is the Newfoundland Labrador Occupational Health and Safety Association. So we've been around a long time. We are a nonprofit organization. We're all volunteers on our board. We have a president and a first and a second vice president, executive director, and we have 8 directors.
Wow.
Yep.
And what drew you into the organization?
Well, everybody that's on the board right now are all health and safety professionals.
Okay.
And it's kind of what we do. So it's, we wanted all to volunteer some of our time. And NLOHSA has been around for such a long time that I've been with the organization for 14 years. Bill himself has been there for 14 years as well.
Okay.
So it's something that's near and dear to our heart, and we really look forward to it.
What drew you into it, Bill?
So, first vice president, took it over 2 years ago, but again,
Congrats.
like Kevin said, we've been 14 years at this as board of director members, and then through the executive. Exciting. Newfoundland, Labrador, so many things happening within the health and safety realm,
right.
And being part of NLOHSA kind of gives us an opportunity to hit all these sectors, all the sectors throughout the province. It doesn't matter where you work, construction, industry, oil and gas, fisheries, doesn't matter. We kind of cross all those barriers.
Wow.
So it's exciting. We all have day jobs, but we do this as a side piece.
It's amazing. I speak to my own passion for volunteerism and not-for-profit boards, and it's the most rewarding and educational experience you'll ever have.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
What are the major gifts that you feel, and I'll turn it back to you then,
Sure.
What are the major gifts that you feel your time working with this organization has provided you?
Well, let's just jump right into it about conference. We're much more than a conference. We're a group of people that kind of come together with a common goal, but just exposure to all these people. So we all do our day jobs, and again, they're important.
Of course.
Lots of people have lots of different aspects to that.
Absolutely.
However, we get together, this is, again, from a volunteer perspective,
right.
Once a year we get to go in for 3 days and jump in with everybody, again, across the province, Newfoundland and Labrador, to really kind of to hear some amazing people speak, to have amazing social and networking abilities, and just to have a good time.
Wicked.
And it's been able to do that. It brings your professionalism to the table, absolutely. But then you can also make those friendships. And sometimes, again, depending on where you work to, you may never have an exposure to one of the sectors. So at that time, we can absolutely get together and talk. And though we're in different sectors, lots of the same issues.
Oh, you know, for sure. And likewise for you, when you look at the work that you have been doing and the organization's evolution over the number of years, which is incredible, what makes you smile?
Well, you know what, Donnie, that's a great question, because years ago, the conference was very small, and we were really only reaching out to certain sectors in the province, and it was very small. So what we wanted to do back in 2019, we actually made a strategic plan for ourselves. And what we want to do, we want to grow our conference. We want to grow NLOHSA. We want to communicate more. So we changed venues in Gander, and what we're doing right now is that we've completely changed from being just a 2 or 3 industry organization to every industry in Newfoundland and Labrador. And we bring an atmosphere out to our conference, actually, that's one of, it's engaging, it's learning, it's networking, like Bill said, with all of the different companies. Our trade show has taken off in the last couple of years. So this year, so far, we've got organizations that are coming in from New Brunswick, from Nova Scotia, to bring in their goods to health and safety products. So we're really looking forward to that. And again, the atmosphere that we have now with our conference in Gander, it's very intimate. So our trade show is right next to the auditorium that we have. So our delegates can not only sit and listen to the very up-to-date topics on health and safety, but then just step moments away and go into a world-class trade show. So we're quite happy about it.
It's exciting. Sounds amazing. I might be out to myself bopping around, checking out what's on there.
Absolutely.
I have to ask you, a more serious question, broad strokes, about the industry in general. In this, the age of risk aversion and protection, how does that ethos, how does that drip down and affect the day-to-day responsibilities and topics around the boardroom table of this organization?
That's awesome. Great question, Donnie. I mean, so this year's theme, safety first, people always. So if you want to hit that on the head, that's where we're to. And going forward with that, we try to keep, again, from the conference perspective, really current topics. We'll jump in. We use always use a couple of impact speakers. Not just speakers on topics, but impact speakers have had something that has happened to them in the industry, personally, physically, and has affected their lives, their families, or others. So we always put in a couple of people that really kind of sets it home, makes safety real. And at the end of the day, then we have a keynote speaker. This year is Earl Ludlow.
Oh, wow.
Well known. I mean, CEO of Fortis and Newfoundland Power at the time, and Chancellor now with MUN.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, though, he's focused all that on safety first, people always.
I love that.
Anyway.
What a theme.
Yeah.
That's
so we want to, and we're also staying very current as well. So we're not going to give away everybody that's coming to the conference. But one that we're really looking forward to is that we actually have the Red Cross is going to do a presentation for us, and we're going to be having 2 ladies that were on the ground in Port-aux-Basque during Fiona.
And that's timely and localized.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we want to be very current, but we want to make sure that everybody takes something away from the conference. And I think everybody in Newfoundland can relate to what happened in Port-aux-Basque. Even though I wasn't there for it, I'm sure that people can relate to it. So we're really looking forward to that. So we won't give away anything else for the conference.
Powerful, and it touches everybody, Donnie.
Well, that's what we're here for.
It really does.
All right.
Absolutely.
That's why we're here tonight.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Listen, I want to thank you both so much for coming on. Will you come back again?
Absolutely.
And I wish you all the best in the upcoming conference. And I'll tell you what, anybody out there that is looking to learn more about this incredible association that does such important work for all of us as workers across all industries in the province, where can we hit you up for this conference information?
Take a look at conference.NLOHSA, but it's NLOHSA.ca.
Thank you so much. We'll see you guys very soon. This is Out of the Fog, and we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and like I said earlier, it's nice to be sat down on the couch, but it's also nice to be stood up over here, hanging out with the one and only Steve. How are you doing?
How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for reaching out, because ultimately, you know, I'm a coffee lover.
Yeah.
I have it in the morning, I have a little bit in the afternoon, and maybe depending on the workload, maybe one in the evening.
Right on.
What about you?
Well, I have my morning coffee. That's a big thing. My wife comes down, I have it in the grinder, and it's basically my big coffee afternoon ritual. Believe it or not, I only have 2. It's all about the pour over, for sure. for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now listen, coffee has become major.
Yeah.
You know?
It's gone crazy.
It's
It
gone
really
crazy
has.
in all the right ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm sort of into the coffee education side of things, and I'm sort of careful. You know, people look at me, they think, oh, there comes the coffee snob. All I want to do is for people to brew better coffee. That's it. You know, and if you like your coffee, if you want milk cream in it, just enjoy it. But that's the thing I'm looking for. Just brew a better cup.
Well, I'm excited about it, and so, you know, to me, the journey is either going into the grocery store and grabbing a big crock of whatever it is, and
Yeah.
it's burnt before you even make it,
Yeah.
and you get used to it, and you move on and live your life, and you drown it in as much milk and sugar as you can get into it to dull the taste of the burn. But if you have a nice cup of coffee,
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
different story.
Yeah. There's a lot of great local roasters out there, and I'm excited. I try to connect with as many as I can. But you hit the nail right on the head. You know, before I started this about 7 years ago, black coffee was like, are you crazy? You drinking that stuff?
Yeah.
But I never realized it actually happened when I was down in Jamaica. I tried some Blue Mountain coffee. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that, but it was incredible. I tried it black. I said, there's a taste in black coffee? So when I came back from Jamaica, and I said, can I get that around? I couldn't find it then, so I started roasting my own.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, once again, if you want to put milk or cream or sugar in it, but if you can't drink a little bit of it black, just get a better cup of coffee to start with, right?
So Jamaica, hey?
Yeah.
All good things happen down there, I hear.
I should be grinding this while we're talking.
Speaking of grinding things from Jamaica, I mean, that's in a whole other show, but
Yeah.
we'll come back to that another time, you know?
Listen, what I'm going to do, I guess I don't know how much time we have here. I'm going to
May I?
grind up a bit there.
Like, can we talk about this apparatus that I'm working with
Oh.
right now? Because I know about pressing a button and this little mechanical thing that
Yeah.
breaks every time you use it, and you got to buy another one. So what's this about?
This is called a Commandante grinder. It's a hand grinder. If anyone's into the coffee world, this is one of the best. I guess this is the way, when I get a little budding business, I get to play around with a bunch of coffee stuff. You would think that having just a hand grinder, or I mean an electric grinder would be great, but this just gets me, I mean, once
So it feels ceremonial.
It does. It's all about the moment.
holistic.
You hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah.
It's all about the moment. And
Oh,
I think-
I hear it as it gets all grinded down, the noise gets less and
Yeah,
less.
basically there's a couple of 2 metal plates called burrs that are grinding each other. So you want a real fine grind, they're close.
Okay.
And you want a coarse grind, they're a little further apart.
Oh, okay, and you can set that.
You can set it right underneath, yeah? I'd show you in a second. Now, this is the moment. Just give that a smell.
Can't
Oh
wait.
Oh my God.
Sorry guys, Smell-O-Vision is not out yet, so
Yeah.
stay tuned.
So what you chose before we went on was an Ethiopian, and that's an Ethiopian. It's come from an area called Coady. So a lot of times when you get into specialty coffee, many times you end up in Ethiopia.
Wow,
It's
is that
amazing.
true?
It's the birthplace of coffee, believe it or not.
Wow, I did not know.
Yeah. You learn something new every day.
Well, I'm
aren't you?
learning everything here now tonight. Thank you so
I've
much.
weighed this out before, but listen, weighing is not a big deal, okay? People say he's got a scale and whatever. I keep trying to say you don't have to do it this way. There's a whole bunch of tips and tricks I got. And so if anyone wants to chat about stuff, about how to do it a little better, I got a little lucky there, I was just noticing.
Okay, so we have a little scale going on here.
Yes, yeah. It's all about consistency.
Okay.
So if anyone's home, the best thing I can say tomorrow morning, if you want to be consistent, use a level tablespoon and measure out your water. So when you use your brewer, the unfortunate thing is you see those little cups, 1, 2, 3 cups. You don't have a clue what that's measuring out. That's never cups. You just measure it out maybe in a measuring cup, use a level tablespoon, and just do the same thing. Once you get the perfect ratio, then you're going to have better coffee, right?
Well,
It doesn't have to be a scale, right? Just because I'm geeking out over this doesn't mean everyone else has to.
So I'm seeing you, you're using this little stir stick
Yeah.
now to make it all set up here, and the paper thing that's in the cup. So right off the bat, I'm like, this guy knows what he's at.
Yeah, so this is, there's so many of these brewers around. I mean, I had about 10 or 12. I'm not going to bring them all in. This one is a classic. It's called a V60 from a company, Hario from Japan.
Okay.
They're huge into coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, and so this is, believe it or not, just a little cheap plastic one, maybe $15. And it's just as good as inexpensive one.
Wowee.
So I just buried a little hole in there, and I'm going to just press it. This little scale here has a timer and the scale here. So
Okay.
I got 300 grams going. I'm just going to give that a press. This is the timer. I'm going to pour it up, and I'm going to go. I had about 18 grams. You don't need to know the details. I'm going to go up to about 54.
There'll be no skill testing after this, so no
No,
worries.
I don't like to push everything on it. Now, just have a look. See little bubbles there?
Yeah, I see.
Unfortunately, people can't see it. That means you got fresh coffee going on.
And now you're telling me that if there was no bubbles going on, then the beans are not fresh.
They're not. It gives off carbon dioxide when it's fresh. Right?
How do
So-
you tell anything else other than the bubbles in the...
Well,
You know?
it's hard to tell. I guess sometimes you can tell by some of the crema on top. So I just did that as what's called a bloom stage. It's just it bubbles up and it's a beautiful bloom to it. And now in another few seconds, I'm just going to give a nice easy pour with this kettle. I know everyone can
Tell
see.
me about this kettle.
Yeah, this is what's called a gooseneck kettle for obvious reasons, right? And you can probably tell. See the pour?
Yes.
I mean, it can go really precise, just a drip. The reason being is that if it was just a regular kettle, you get what's called channels. And the coffee would just rush down the channel and it would be over-extracted. But right now, it's just, I mean,
This is art.
it's a blast.
And
It
art
really
comes
is.
in many forms.
I'm
does it
having
not?
way too much fun in my afternoon coffee. My wife gets a real kick out of me when I'm doing it. It's almost like, basically it's coffee's in to me.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know, you get the vibes, don't you? Really. So we're almost done. I'm only going to go up to 300 and away to go. But you can hear it just gurgling through, right? So you just hear some nice music in the background. And yeah, there you go. Perfect. Close enough. So I'm just going to give a little spin.
Okay.
See?
This
Yeah.
is ceremonial.
It very much is funny.
And this is a nice little break from the day, I bet, too.
You know, it's funny you said ceremonial. Remember I said Ethiopia is the coffee? Well, there's an Ethiopia coffee ceremony. I mean, they are so much into coffee. It's very much a social thing over in Ethiopia. You know how Newfoundlanders love a little cup of tea.
we do.
Coffee, I mean, basically that is their life. They get together, there's all these rituals, and if you're going anywhere, you're going to have a cup of coffee. You have to ground it, you roast it, and all sorts of things, right?
So may I ask, you know, the coffee craze that has been growing and growing, I mean, 30 years ago, how many Tim Hortons did we have? And
Yeah.
now every corner, there's every type of purveyor of coffee, which is amazing to see. It's interesting. It makes me wonder, you know, what other type of food, drink experience is next to capture the craze that coffee has. Do you ever wonder?
I hadn't even thought about that.
It's
tell you the truth.
wild, you know?
It's funny you mentioned Tim's and McDonald's. I sort of concerned. One of the things, one of the reasons you won't see my coffee in the stores is because I sort of pay 3 and 4 times the amount, and also I don't have the quantity, right? I have my
course.
own little customers I'll do a home delivery to.
Wow.
But if you're buying at Tim's, or I mean, you don't buy it from me, just see if you can check out local more and see if you can see the transparency and check out where your coffee's coming from. Because if you're paying $1 for your coffee, what's the farmer getting paid, right? So that's a big concern of mine. And I know I never thought of it before. I mean, I don't want to sound like a preacher or nothing.
The local
But
conversation.
7 years ago, didn't even occur to me.
Right.
Since I've gotten into it, it's crazy. It is something that, and it's just a matter of going local. Just talking with a local. A lot of people, there's a lot of fabulous local roasters out there. Like I mentioned, connect with them, and just get the story of your coffee, and see where it's coming from, and pay a little more, knowing that people are working hard on the other end.
Well, I think it's so nice of you to say that, and I think from everything that we purchase in goods and services and beyond, we don't realize, or we have somehow made peace with the fact that, oh yeah, that's not being done by humans. No,
It's
they
almost
are.
like fast fashion. You know how you get in, you buy it, and it's disposable
Right.
clothing and stuff. Well, believe it or not, 60% of the world's coffee comes from farmers less than 12 hectares. So they're all small farmers.
Wow.
Some of them are in cooperatives, so they give them a little break.
Right.
And then suddenly people jump on this free trade type thing, not fair trade. And sometimes if it's a big company, there's a whole different rules.
Yes.
Massive companies down in Brazil. Believe it or not, some of the coffee that I have, I've actually chatted with the farmer on social media. I mean, it blows me
That's
away.
amazing.
It was incredible.
The
because,
global village.
Jeez,
Right.
he gives me a shout and says, "Oh, this is great. You have my coffee." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I'm talking to the actual guy."
That's
you know?
amazing.
Yeah.
Listen, we're in our final minute or so.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, how can folks get at you regarding everything that you love and do with Goodkarma Coffee?
Well, I'm on Instagram mostly, and Facebook,
Who's
I guess,
not?
goes to that. I got an event coming up. Hopefully this will air April 1st. So, I mean, there's a whole lot more for just your average coffee drinker right up to your coffee geek. Other than that, yeah, you can reach out to me Instagram or Facebook.
That's great. Local roasters, it's interesting for me to hear that from you, that there are so many. Because I did not appreciate
More than
that
you
was a
realize.
thing. Well,
Yeah.
this is what I'm talking about. I'm like, really? Local roasters? I guess the beans come in and everything they do with the beans is
Yeah.
their own flavor and their own flair.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that have their own, which is great. I mean, support local like it always is, right?
Listen, one more plug. What are we talking about? These wicked
You know how
little
wine
mugs?
glasses get?
Yeah.
These are actually suitable for coffee, believe it or not.
Wowee,
Everything's
so
gone sort of
beautiful.
wine, the way description or whatever.
Yeah.
I chatted with the company of this, and they're going to give me a little free package to give away at my event, so that should be fun.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, listen, bottoms up.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers to you.
Enjoy.
Thank you. I'm going to have a little sip now, guys. You're watching it happen here
I
now.
guess I shouldn't be drinking on.
It's going
Should
down.
wait.
Oh, we don't know what's in it. Let's go. Well, guys, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure here to be hanging out tonight on the show. Thank you very much for you to come through. Cheers to
great
you
to
once
be
again.
here.
Will you come back?
Oh, for sure. Anytime.
I'll tell you what, I have a lot to learn about coffee, but I got a lot to learn about a lot of things. So that's why I do the show, actually. I learn so much. And I'll tell you what, it's a pleasure to have someone so passionate as you doing what you do. So guys, until next time, check out Goodkarma Coffee. And this was Out of the Fog. I'll see you at the bottom of this glass. Cheers again. Third time's a charm. Yeah, beautiful. Light roast, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
I grew up in Natty Bay, a little community 6 kilometers from here
I grew up here.
in St. Lenaire. We met in 65 and we got married in April of 66. First when we got married, we were married 2 years before electricity came here. Oh, we didn't have no fridges or anything then to put things in. We always bottled our jam and we always put pear wax on top to keep it from spoiling. You know, that would keep it from going bad on top. And that's how we did the bottling of that then, you know, until electricity came through. Both of us worked on a fish plant. First when we got married, we used to fish, right? Money wasn't very plentiful. You know, we was only getting small pay at our work.
See, back here you lived off the land. That's all we lived off land. There wasn't, you didn't have any money because you didn't need it. See, there was no light bills, no phone bills, no cars. So you didn't need money.
And we had all those stuff, you know, all of those things preserved, right? When you come home from work and that, you know, instead of come home cooking a meal, which days we didn't have time to do, we open up something, we probably open up a bottle of mousse or thing and put it on the stove and add it up, make some gravy, and boil a few potatoes and carrots and that, and there you ate your meal for supper. It was really important for the you know, for us family, right? Beets and the carrot and stuff like that, right? That all comes from our own garden.
We used to set potatoes, we'd kill up from the beach, and then when the capelin land, we'd put capelin on top. That was the fertilizer we used, eh?
We gave a lot of our stuff away to people who didn't have things. We would share our bottling and our veggies. Say if someone came in unexpected and you was after finishing your lunch or whatever, we had hours to eat. Well, they came in, you open up a bottle of caribou or rabbit and, you know, whatever, right? Moose or whatever they desire. We just do it up and quick meal, you know? We're going to start off by making some beets. We got 5 pounds of beets. First, they got to be boiled, and we just go by the tenderness. And then when they're done enough, we'll throw them in the sink there, and we'll just run some cold water over them. And as soon as the cold water is up, as soon as they're cold to the touch, we'll just take with our finger and thumb and just peel the beets like that. And now sometimes if you don't cook them enough, they won't peel like that. And Then I'll cut them up. Some people want them very fancy, but I don't do that. I just cut them up chunks. And after I get them cut up, I'll do the juices, I'll say. The way I does mine, I use this 2, 2, and 2. I use 2 vinegar, 2 sugar, and 2 water. That's cups. And I'll add allspice. That's what I put in mine, just allspice and salt. With the allspice, 2 teaspoons, and I'll taste it. If that's not enough, I'll add more. Right on. And then when we get that done, I'll bring it to a boil, and then I'll put the beets back in the pot, and I'll just let them come up to a boil, right? And then we'll put them in the bottles, and they're sealed. If that's not sealed, you know, that's going to spoil.
Oh, yeah.
Or see.
You got to make sure the bottle is sealed.
Yeah, because when you're doing it like that, on the bottles, when they're put in red hot like that, the bottle goes down, you know, the cover, lid will go down in the middle, right? And they'll click and you know it's done. But if that don't happen, the bottle's not sealed.
Might as well take them back.
We always leave it right there for a while. We know the lid don't go down. We'll open it up right away. You know, see, we want to put it back. I don't like bottle beets. I like my home. I like the ones that I do myself. Yeah.
I love beets, so. Oh.
Hi, I'm Justice.
And I'm Nia. And we believe
Dreams fuel revolutions. That's why we're engaging with Canadian icons and the causes they support.
Join us for these inspiring conversations and find out how you can be revolutionary.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.